Bob's Breakfast.
The filming of Mission Impossible 6 in London has been put on hold. It's because Tom Cruise broke his ankle during a stunt. He was hurt while filming a jump between two buildings. Of course, if Tom wants to take on a really impossible mission, he should try explaining the plots of the last 5 Mission Impossible films. Good morning, I'm Graham Mack. We've been talking about songs that have your name in them. Polish Anna's on the phone. Morning, Anna.
About a song about Anna.
Yes.
Yes. So, okay, I can say something. We have got like a Polish band.
Yes.
Red guitars who've been singing about Anna Maria.
The song is called Anna Maria.
Yeah.
Is it anything like the Benny Hill song, Anna Maria? Anna Maria, you're the girl I adore. Anna Maria, you're the girl I live for. I travel the world, all land and sea, but I'll never find one like you, Anna Marie. Is it like that one?
Well, it sounds a little bit different because it's a Polish song.
Yeah, but this one has a great verse in it. We went to the open-air theatre one summer's night in the park. Soon I had to excuse myself, so I wandered off in the dark. I got back to my seat next to her, hadn't been gone for more than a minute. I said, how was the show? She said, you want to know, you stupid great fool, you were in it. It's not like that one at all then. No, okay. All right, thanks a lot.
Bob's Breakfast.
I'm Graham Mack. Chris Hubbard has the news.
Do you reckon Elvis is still around?
No.
No?
Why would Elvis be alive? The theory is that maybe he faked his own death.
Yeah.
Now, I get that, okay? Elvis was probably the most famous person in the world, and he'd been the most famous person in the world for a long time, which has got to be a drag. There is a chance that Elvis said, you know what, I just want to go back to being unknown. I want my life back. And he may have faked his own death and then now lives in disguise as not Elvis. I get that. That's possible.
Yeah.
Okay. But here's the thing that lets it down. You're the most famous person in the world and you're planning to fake your own death. The first thing you've got to go is, well, how am I going to pretend to die? I don't think you would come up with, I know, I'll die on the toilet trying to pass a giant turd.
Bob's Breakfast.
Good morning, Chris.
Graham, electric cars.
Yes,
You're banging on about them day after day.
I am. I'm obsessed with them.
You are?
Yeah.
I don't know if you read the article in the Observer last Sunday,
What did it say?
but there are a lot of problems that have got to be overcome before they can go ahead with this.
What do you mean? They're already going ahead with it. They're already on sale.
Yeah, but it's not going to be everybody because there just isn't enough. Who's going to power the extra electricity?
Well, there isn't. Once they get them, it was like when petrol cars came along. You had to buy the petrol at the chemist. What happened after the cars came along? Then we got the infrastructure, and that'll be the same with electric cars. The bottom line is, it costs an average of 12p a mile to drive a regular combustion engine car. It only costs 2p a mile to drive an electric car. What would you sooner drive?
I'd sooner drive a petrol car.
Why? You'd sooner pay the extra and drive a petrol car. Why?
Because as you know, I've been a milkman. I've driven electric milk floats for donkey's years.
Yeah, but milk floats. I know milk floats. That's like 1930s technology, isn't it? 1940s technology.
Yeah, sure.
Modern electric cars are totally different. They like a Tesla Model 3, which is the new one that Tesla announced this week. It will do over 300 miles on a single charge, and it's not according
to their figures. It's just over 200.
No, there's a long range. They do a regular version and a long range version, and the long range version does over 300. The Tesla Model S already does over 300 miles to a charge.
But the thing with Tesla is that they're virtually on the edge of bankruptcy anyway. They are so reliant on their new model now that if it doesn't take off quickly, they will go bust.
And most,
anyway,
but wait a second though, Chris. But most things are like that. When Sky TV started, he was on he bet the company on putting the satellite up. When Henry Ford started the Ford Motor Company, he put everything into it. This is how change happens when people gamble the farm on everything. So Tesla's not unusual in that respect.
Yeah, but they're not. You're coming into a market that's already there with other technology.
Yeah, and that's called disruptive technology. When Henry Ford brought out the Model T, it was horses that were the current model. It was disruptive and this is what we're at the brink of right now with electric cars. We are.
Yeah. The other thing is, probably half the population don't have off-street parking. Where are they going to charge?
There will be charged, like I said, with petrol being used to buy it in the chemist. There will be, like, I live in a block of flats. I park my car in a car park. But one day there will be a charging point by where I park my car. All that stuff will change when the electric cars come because when petrol cars hadn't come, people go, well, where are you going to fill them up? What about when the chemists aren't? And then petrol stations popped up. Things will change. The infrastructure will come. But right now, I drive up to Liverpool every weekend. I do over 400 miles a week. I could own a Tesla right now without having off-street parking at my block of flats where I park in a car park. Because Tesla have put an infrastructure in, and between here and Liverpool, where I go, there are 3 Tesla supercharger stations. There's one at Newport Pagnell, there's one at Stoke Services, and there's one at Burton Wood Services. And each one of those, you can put a full charge on the car in 20 minutes. Not a full charge, it's a 90% charge. So well over 100 miles I can put on the car. So I would only have to make one stop there and one stop on the way back. And I would still have enough electricity to get me to Bob and back from Hitchin every day. And that one stop, I have to make a stop because my bladder only has a range of about 140 miles. I have to stop anyway. So by the time I've had a stop, had a wee and a cup of tea, the car will be charged. Right now, Chris, I could own a Tesla even though I don't have off-street parking, and I do over 400 miles a week.
Yeah. What about the lithium?
What about the lithium?
Well, they make the batteries from lithium, amongst
lithium
other
ion,
things.
yeah.
And lithium is in very short supply. They need to find extra lithium.
Yeah, they do.
On.
And just like when Henry Ford was building the Model T, they couldn't get the steel, and that's why he made the subframe out of wood. I mean, these things, they're problems, but that doesn't stop progress. It's coming. It's happening.
No, I'm not. What my point is, you're saying it's going to happen in a few years.
It is.
Well, it's not. It's going to take more than a few years. Unless your definition of a few years is different to mine.
I say this. In 5 years, in 3 years' time, well, look at Volvo aren't even going to make any cars that don't have electric motors in 2019. That's Volvo, one of the biggest manufacturers in the world. And all the others are right behind it too. And I say in the next 3 to 5 years, most cars, new cars that will be produced will be electric. And I say in 10 years' time, most cars on the road will be electric. It's going to happen fast.
Well, okay, we'll agree to disagree because I don't think it's going to happen that quick, which is why the government has set a time of 2040 on it.
Yeah, well, I don't even think. I reckon it'll happen before that. I don't even think they need that limit.
No, I'm not convinced.
All right,
anyway,
Chris, I would rather have an electric car. If I could have an electric car right now, I would, and I'm waiting for the Model 3, but they're too expensive right now, so I'm going to wait 3 years when they're 3 years old, and I'm going to buy a 3-year-old Model 3 Tesla. That's my plan.
Okay.
Right, Chris.
By which time you'll need new batteries on it, and
no, there's an 8-year battery warranty on them, Chris. Yeah.
Okay, mate.
Bob's Breakfast.
So this morning you brought us news of stuff that's being taxed or has been taxed. There's a state in America where tattoos and piercings are taxed.
Yeah, that's right. 6% tax on that.
Somebody doesn't like people with tattoos and piercings.
Well, clearly not.
No, in Russia they were taxing beards, you told us.
Yeah. I think that was in the 1800s.
Yeah.
They were taxing beards. There was soap being taxed.
That was in Britain.
Yeah.
Soap was taxed. And salt.
And salt.
That'll get taxed again. They're already taxing sugar. Yeah.
It won't be long.
Yeah. This morning, like to know, if you were in charge, what would you tax? Badger.
There was 3 things I'd like taxed. I agree with that woman about cyclists. And
Well, you know, Badger, I can't, you know, cyclists have got kind of militant on me, and I don't want to rattle that bee's nest again. I really don't want, but what is it you want to say? You think cyclists should be taxed?
Cyclists should be taxed, and I think horses as well. Anyone that rides a horse on the road should be taxed.
Okay.
As well.
All right then.
Right. But anyway, no, the one that people like when you drive past a country pub or something, and it's got a sign outside that says "Good Pub Food," they
Yes.
should be taxed.
Really?
I mean, who's going to put a sign out that says "Pub Food"? I mean, it's ridiculous, you know. I mean, and when you're in the doctors,
Yes.
people walk in and they go, "Hello, how are you?" You know, well, I'm ill, aren't I? I mean, the doctors. I mean, God, you know, they should be taxed.
Yeah, okay.
And other people that say, like, you going on holiday this year? You say, yeah, September for 2 weeks. Oh, are you going anywhere nice? No, I'm going somewhere awful. I went there last year for a week. It was so bad, I'm going back for 2 weeks this year. You know? I mean, how ridiculous is that?
We've been talking about etiquette faux pas. There's a survey out this week of etiquette faux pas. Things to avoid if you're at an important, meal like a date or, a business meeting or something. You shouldn't click your fingers to get the waiter's attention. You shouldn't lick your knife. You shouldn't talk with your mouth full, which is difficult when they come past and go, is everything okay? So there's a whole list of these things. What's your etiquette faux pas story? Mick?
I went out with this girl and her parents were from Sheffield.
Right.
And whenever we went out anywhere, he used to pour his tea into the saucer of his cup and drink it.
Did he drink it out of the saucer?
He did, yeah.
Because I've seen people pour it into the saucer and then pour it into the tea just to kind of cool it out, and he'd drink it, and you can't do that. You have to slurp.
Yeah, he did slurp as well, yeah. That's all part of it. I think just poured it into the thing in the middle of a restaurant and slurped it out. I didn't understand it, but he said it was a Yorkshire thing.
Right, okay, yeah. No, right. London's going to sound a bit different, isn't it, for the next 4 years?
Oh, you're talking about the bells in Big Ben?
Yeah. We're not going to hear the sound of that bell for 4 years. Yeah, 4 years. It's being fixed. Something broken with it. I don't know.
They're spending millions of pounds, aren't they, on redoing it?
Yeah, and they're going to silence Big Ben. 4 years. No Big Ben in London.
That'll sound really weird because anybody stood nearby, it's one of the draws for the tourists, isn't
Yes,
it?
it
Just
is.
waiting out for those bells.
Yes, it is. Bound to hear it. Oh, well. I suppose the work needs to be done.
It does.
Preserve the history and the heritage of the clock and the big bell. Good news for headline writers too.
Why is this?
Well, they can finally use that headline they've been sitting on that they thought they were going to use on a story about Boris Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Westminster Bell End. Bonzi.
Etiquette faux pas.
Yes.
We was out with an old boy who didn't really look after himself, but he come to one of the, I think it's someone's anniversary, so half the lads in the warehouse and everything was there.
Yeah.
And their wives.
Uh-huh.
And we're all sitting there and I thought, well, he don't really look, I'll go and get a big plate of grub, which I did.
Yeah.
And he's quite happy sitting there eating all this grub, he's smarting himself up and everything. But some of the grub was a bit tough.
Right.
And if you imagine, we're all sitting around this table opposite each other and everything, and he suddenly took his top set of teeth out, rinsed them in his pint of beer, put it in one pocket, took the other set out, rinsed it in there, and put it in another pocket. It was unbelievable.
He took his teeth out, top set first, then bottom set, and rinsed them out in his pint of beer.
Yes, and then put them in his pocket and carried on eating.
With no
my
teeth?
mate sitting opposite him said, wow, suddenly I'm not hungry. it was horrible. It was horrible, honest.
Oh, dear. Well, how did he eat with no teeth then?
Oh, he just bounced it around his gums.
Oh, what? Oh, Bonzi. Thank you so much. Britain is the greatest country on earth, and that's because nothing is your fault. If you smoke, it's because the National Health Service won't pay for your nicotine patches. If you drink too much, it's because there aren't warning labels on the bottles and cans. If you're fat, it's because there's no sugar tax, or your doctor's fat, or the NHS won't pay for your gym membership. And if your kids are fat, well, it's because the manufacturers put too many calories in their food. Now, to make sure you don't get the idea that anything could possibly be your fault, the government are constantly looking for other people for you to blame. Health officials are now demanding that calories in popular foods must be cut. Targets are going to be set to reduce calories in pizzas, burgers, and ready meals. It's part of the government's drive to tackle childhood obesity. Finally, the government is going to do something about your fat kids. The size of products will be reduced and ingredients will be changed in food bought in supermarkets, takeaways and restaurants. The targets will be set by Public Health England, which is an executive agency of the Department of Health. The targets will be voluntary, but if the food industry doesn't respond, the government say they're prepared to legislate. So, more great news and a reminder that if you have fat kids, it's not because you're feeding them too much bad food. It's all the government's fault for not having calorie targets. So, keep feeding your fat little darlings whatever they want, whenever they want. Have another cigarette. Get drunk. Don't exercise. Maybe even take up a new addiction. Have you tried heroin? And if it becomes a problem, don't worry. You're not to blame, because this is the greatest country on earth. And even if it isn't, it's still not your fault. Hey, Chris Hubbard, there's more fudge out in the kitchen if you fancy it.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I can handle that this time.
I think the problem is I can. That is quite an issue. I'm going to put.
Well, the good thing is it's
there.
Another couple of hours before anyone else is in.
That's the thing.
So fill your boots.
No, but that's what Lisa was back yesterday.
Yeah.
Lisa, who works in sales, who's great. She'd been away for what was it? 2 weeks she was away.
Yeah, I think so.
Every day she brings in food. Every day. So it's a real temptation, and she brought fudge back. She's been on holiday somewhere where they do fudge. Cornwall?
It's maybe? Norfolk.
Norfolk. Okay.
I'm not sure it comes from Norfolk.
No.
Norfolk fudge. It's not renowned for it.
But anyway, no. So you can see how I was confused.
Yeah.
Did you hear what she said about her and her other half and the bathing suit?
No.
Oh, I don't know how I would not get away with this. Now, Lisa's lovely. Lisa is a healthy shape, shall we say. She's not skinny, healthy shape. Anyway, she came in yesterday and she brought this fudge in and she says, I'm not eating it. This is, you can eat it. I'm not eating anything. My diet's on. She's into the diet now.
Yeah.
And
well, she was working up to this, wasn't she? She'd been talking about it.
Yeah, but I think she was waiting until after her holiday.
Okay.
But there was an incident. She bought 2 new bathing suits. And she said one of them was a red one-piece. And the other one was more, she described it as a Marilyn Monroe style bathing suit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But she said, you've got to remember, Marilyn Monroe was size 16. So, proportionally, it should have worked.
Yeah.
So apparently she came out the first day on the beach and she's in the bathing suit. And she says to her other half, what do you think? He gave her a look and then he said, not good.
Oh! I would never get away with that.
Would you? I mean, no.
No.
But
It'd be separate beds for 2 weeks.
But it got worse.
Yeah.
So the next day, she comes out in the red one,
Right.
trying to do the Pamela Anderson.
Okay.
And he took a look at that and he went, you know what? It's not so much Baywatch.
No.
More Crime Watch. Let's cross now live to Yorkshire. She listens on the BOBfm app. It's Jane, who is now Jane C. Steele, because she's published a book of poems called Whispered Words, and I'm holding a copy of the book now, Jane. It's a wonderful book. It's available on Amazon. You were on the show last week and you talked about it.
From that programme, there's a lady called Jane who lives in Letchworth, and she emailed me and she bought the book, and she's from Bradford.
No
where I
way.
grew up.
You have another. There's a lady from Bradford who listens to this show in Letchworth. She heard about the book and she now a copy is on its way to her, right?
No, she's got it. She emailed me after.
Oh, did you sent it to her? Yeah.
No,
She went on Amazon and got it.
Yeah, she listens to the programme. Graham, there's somebody else listening.
Jeez, if I knew somebody was actually listening to this rubbish, I'd put more effort into it. You know what I'm saying? You know.
Yeah, well, there you go. And it was the nicest thing to hear from her. And she's sort of my age and from Bradford too, so it was lovely.
Oh, that's nice. And so you're getting good feedback now so far about the book?
Yeah, well, it's got one review, and I don't know who wrote it. It wasn't my mum.
Oh, really? Well, you look at that. It's happening. It's a happening thing. You see, I could be talking to the next J.K. Rowling. In 12 months' time, you might not even want to talk to me.
Oh, of course I will. Don't be
Okay,
silly.
well, I'm just checking.
No, you're probably not, but I was in Glasgow this weekend, and with one of my old girlfriends. I can say old now because we're getting there, but she lived in New Zealand for ages.
Did she? Whereabouts? Do you know?
No, and no, I've forgotten that bit.
Okay.
But I said, oh, well, I will tell you about you in the radio show. She said, does he remember Leggy Peggy?
Leggy Peggy? No.
On the radio.
No. Which...
And she was this old dear and was on a late night show, and she'd phone in and she'd play the piano. Over the phone every night. Tony said, I went to bed with Leggy Peggy every night.
I don't remember that, no. I remember Kevin Black was on Radio Hauraki and he did a syndicated show called The Other Top 40 on the weekends. He was a big deal, Kevin Black. The funniest thing I heard on the radio in New Zealand, I was listening to Radio Northland in Whangarei, and the DJ had just played a Billy Idol tune. This was in the 80s. He's played White Wedding on one of the big ones. And he goes, yeah, that was Billy Idol from London, and he used to be in a band called Generation 10. And you know Billy Idol used to be in Generation X. The kids read it as a Roman numeral.
We touched on this a few weeks ago at the start of the Edinburgh Fringe, but now, following it, the funniest jokes have been revealed.
Now this, for some reason, is always a list of unfunny, ordinary jokes, and they're always touted as being the best of the Fringe. In fact, I think they win awards, don't they, or something? Or they get announced as the best jokes of the Fringe.
They do, yeah.
Well, how many have you got on the list then?
We've got the top 15.
The top 15?
Yeah.
Well, can you run us past the top 5 then?
Okay, the top 5.
Yes.
The first one, number 1, went to Ken Cheng.
Hang on, wait a second. You're doing number 1.
Or I can talk you down through
Talk me down.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Talk me down through from 5 to 1.
Okay, 1, 2, 3,
build
4.
build a bit of tension there.
There is a Frankie Boyle one in there that's a bit questionable.
If you can't do it, you can't do it. Just say, and at number whatever it is, the Frankie Boyle one that's a bit questionable.
That's fine.
Okay. So what's at number 5?
So, number 5. This is from Andy Field, who received 27% of the jokes. I like to imagine the guy who invented the umbrella was going to call it the Brella, but he hesitated.
That's awful.
It is awful, isn't it?
And that's the 5th best joke from Edinburgh?
Yeah, 5th best joke.
What's at number 4?
Number 4 is by somebody called Lou Fitz. I'm looking for the girl next door type. I'm just going to keep moving house till I find her.
Oh, that's dreadful.
Isn't it?
That is dreadful. That is like a cheesy DJ from the 70s or 80s. Or Chris Evans might use that.
Yeah.
Tony Blackburn, one of those burnt out old DJs.
Number 3, Alexei Sale's in there.
Alexei Sale, known for political comment, a bit of silliness, but sometimes edgy humour.
And you have to imagine this in his voice as well, as opposed to my voice.
Okay.
I've given up asking rhetorical questions. What's the point?
Jeez. Alexei Sale. Wow.
Number 2 was this Frankie Boyle joke. Actually, I've just had another read through it. Frankie Boyle said, Trump's nothing like Hitler. There's no way he could write a book.
Actually, that's the best. So that's not bad. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's not as rude as some of Frankie Boyle's other ones.
No, all right then. There we go. It gets that.
Okay.
I'll give it that. Yeah. But at number 1.
With 33% of the jokes, came from Ken Cheng.
Ken Cheng.
I'm not a fan of the new pound coin, but then again, I hate all change.
The Alexei Sale one's better.
It was, wasn't it?
Isn't it?
Yeah. I'm just looking at some of the other ones. Actually, this is a silly one.
Okay.
Mark Simmons, combine harvesters, and you'll have a really big restaurant.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's a play on words.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Somebody else says, I'm rubbish with names. It's not my fault. It's a condition. There's a name for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
I have 2 boys, 5 and 6. We're no good at naming things in our house.
I saw that one coming. No, I saw that one coming.
Yeah. That was Ed Byrne.
Really?
Yeah. What
Tim
else
Vine used to be good at Tim Vine had a reasonable one year. It was crime in multi-storey car parks. That's wrong on so many levels.
Yes. Well, Tim Vine's a master of one-liners,
yeah,
isn't
well,
he?
it was did Tim Vine make the list this year? Maybe he didn't play Edinburgh this year.
I can't see it in there.
He used to be good at those.
Oh, yeah, actually, he is in there.
Okay, what's his entry this year?
He was actually at number 15.
Okay.
I went to a Pretenders gig. It was a tribute act.
Okay. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Not great.
Phil Wang says, for me, dying is a lot like going camping. I don't want to do it.
Well, that's just rubbish.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Because you could you could change the word camping to anything. The way what a really good joke works is if it could only be that one thing in there.
Yeah.
To make it all join together. Because the joke's a bit like a puzzle, isn't it?
Yeah. Try this one. As a vegan, I think people who sell meat are disgusting. But apparently people who sell fruit and veg are grosser.
No. You see, that reminds me of another better joke.
Yeah.
The Jimmy Carr one. When Jimmy Carr's lady said to him, "You're fattest," and he said, "No, you're fatter than me." But that's a way better joke.
It is, yeah.
At least what these things will do at work today for people is you read them out, remind them of better jokes.
Well, yes, that's it. And there'll be competition in the office if they're looking through this list.
Yeah. But remember, these are professional joke tellers.
They are.
These are not people in the office or a fella down the pub who's always good for a laugh. These are professional joke tellers, and they're rubbish at it.
I wonder if some of the times it's the occasion, it's kind of the atmosphere in the place, and take away all of that, and you're just left with a pretty pathetic one-liner.
I think the context is important, because if you were seeing somebody on that list doing their act, and they're giving, there's like a rhythm to it, and they're giving you these punchlines like regular, and you get into the rhythm of laughing, and you almost forgive the weaker ones because there's a stronger one coming up. Yeah.
So maybe that's what it is, and just standalone, they don't quite work as well.
Yeah, and I'm no person to judge, because as far as stand-up comedy goes, I am a miserable failure.
Well, you had a go at it.
I have died many times. I was terrible at it. Nothing worked. Sometimes I'd try a story and it didn't work, and then I'd try short ones that didn't work. I thought I was onto something with one of my things I did. I said, in fact, I opened with it on a show. This is bizarre as well. You know the BBC Theatre in Broadcasting House? I was working for them at the time, and they had this, I think it was for Comic Relief, and they wanted people to do stand-up. And they judged me as having the best opening out of the 40 or so radio presenters that had a crack at this in the BBC Theatre. You know, the one where the Goons was taped and like historic place in Broadcasting House. Yeah, no, I opened with, have you ever noticed how all of Clint Eastwood's movies sound like condoms? And then I mentioned a few. Can you think of a Clint Eastwood movie? They sound
off the face of it. I can't.
Google Clint Eastwood movies.
Right, okay, here we go.
And you will notice how all of them sound like brands of condoms. Every single one. And so I started listing a few off. Because everyone else that got up and said who they were and what their name was. Go on, read off a few of Clint Eastwood's movies. And
Dirty Harry.
Dirty Harry sounds like a brand of condom.
A Fistful of Dollars.
There you go.
Pale Rider.
There you go.
High Plains Drifter.
They're all in there. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Unforgiven. Gran Torino.
Yes. Is Bronco Billy in there? That was one of them. Cadillac Man, there was another one.
American Sniper.
There you go. Every one of Clint.
That is very good.
Space Cowboys. Yeah. Everyone. And I thought that I had something going there.
Mystic River.
Every single Clint Eastwood movie sounds like the brand of a condom. I thought I had something with that.
Yeah.
Didn't work. In fact, the thing is...
I'm just going through the list
okay,
now.
You could just read them out.
Okay.
I don't think there's a single Clint Eastwood movie that doesn't sound like a brand of condom.
The Gauntlet.
Hey!
The Rookie. True Crime. What else have we got? Where Eagles Dare.
Every single Clint Eastwood movie. I mean, there was a Fistful of Dollars and a few dollars more, wasn't there? I mean...
What about Escape from Alcatraz?
Escape from Alcatraz! If you want to have some fun today, forget this list of jokes from the Edinburgh Festival. Just look down, just Google a list of Clint Eastwood movies and remember every one of them sounds like a brand of condom. This week, a survey came out that was done by hotel workers of some of the most disturbing things they've found in hotel rooms. This included one room that they went into that was empty. All the furniture had been stolen, thrown out of the window, and then collected. What's your story of staying in a hotel that was just a little bit disturbing? Tracy.
Well, my weekend away was when I first met my husband. He took me to a place called Thirsk. He was actually doing a job for police, fitting cameras.
So that's up in Yorkshire, is it? North Yorkshire?
And basically went to this little hotel and we checked in and a man sort of popped up a bit like Basil Fawlty behind the desk and said, would you like a four-poster? And we said, no, thank you, just an ordinary room. But could we have a drink? And he said, of course. The bar's over there. So we went over to the bar, and then he popped up behind the bar with a jacket and a bow tie on. We had a drink, and then later on he said, I said, where can we eat? And we said, we would, just want a snack. We don't want anything big. He said, oh, no, you can just come through to the restaurant next door. So we went through to the restaurant next door, and he walked through with a chef's hat on.
So you don't know whether he's like, you don't know whether you're in the world's best hotel with the keenest owner or the world's worst with the creepiest owner.
It was the weirdest experience. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you.
Thanks a lot, Tracy. Love it.
Bob's Breakfast.
The Great British Bake Off is making front page news. Yes, a TV show about cooking. A baking contest. It was big news that it's moved from the BBC to Channel 4. And now it's just big news because it's on. With new hosts. Honestly, if a baking contest can be a hit TV format, what else is out there that could bring in the ratings? Joe?
An idea for a TV format?
Yes.
Vegetarian fishing.
And how would vegetarian fishing work, Joe?
You have competitors lined up and they each have a fishing rod and line, but there's no hook on the line. They just sit there and wait and wait. But the thing is, whoever can wait the longest is the winner.
Right. I love it. I think if a baking show, if Great British Bake Off can be riveting, top-rating television, there's no reason why you can't have vegetarian fishing. Jo, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bob's Breakfast.
I'm talking about hotel stories this morning. And you've stayed in a dodgy hotel. What's the story? Piper, you booked a hotel in Brighton for a dirty weekend with you and Doug.
I booked this place that I'd found on the internet, and I thought it would be all right. And of course we got there, and it looked quite grotty from the outside. We walked past all these really nice hotels and we're thinking, oh, this should be okay. And then we got to this one and it looked grotty from the outside. And we went in, and the guy behind the counter was wearing like one of those string vests that Bruce Willis wears in the Die Hard movie.
Uh-huh.
And a neck brace.
Right.
And was just really surly. And we went up to the room, and it was just sort of full of furniture that you'd probably find in a junk store.
Uh-huh.
And it sort of smelt. And there was blood on the duvet.
No.
Yeah. And I just said, I don't think I can stay here. This is horrible. And I was so impressed by Doug. He was so manly. We strode down the stairs and he said, I'm sorry, but this place doesn't come up to our standards. We're leaving. And we went and found somewhere else. And I just swooned.
Wow, that is just horrific. Someone's been murdered in there.
Probably, or maybe they just cut themselves shaving. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I'm going with murdered. All right. Thanks a lot, Piper. Cheers, bye.
This is Bob.
Convoys of driverless trucks will be on British roads soon. The government is going to pay for trials of semi-autonomous goods vehicles. A human will drive the lead truck, which will be followed by drone trucks piloted by computers. So, we'll have convoys of brainless vehicles following the leader. So a lot like a political party, really.
'Cause we got a little old convoy rocking through the night. Yeah, we got a little old convoy. Ain't she a beautiful sight?
Hotel nightmare stories. Mick.
Me and the missus went to this hotel a couple of years ago, and we booked in, and she gave us the keys, opened the door in the bedroom, and on the bed, there was one of these sexy nurses' outfits. Right. And it was actually laying on the bed, and had all these petals, these rose petals all over the bed.
Yeah.
Mrs. looked at me, and I looked at her, and I said, no, it's nothing to do with me, love.
Yeah.
We went back downstairs again, and we said to the receptionist, and she went all red in the face, and she said, oh, sorry, your room is this number. So obviously they give us the wrong room.
Yeah.
And you know when you go downstairs for breakfast, and as you go down, someone says, what room are you? And you say 22, they say, thank you, here you go. Yeah. We were listening now for whose room it belonged to, but it didn't bother coming down.
They didn't bother coming down. I wonder what they were up to.
Exactly that, yeah.
Mick, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Bob's Breakfast.
Hello?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Leslie. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you very much, Graham.
Now, how old are you today?
65.
65? Goodness me. Now, tell me a little bit about yourself. What are you into?
Well, I've bought a bicycle for my birthday.
A bicycle? Yes.
Well,
I think I've got enough to work with for a birthday song. Are you ready?
Yeah.
And it's 65?
Yeah.
Okay, well... Today is Leslie's birthday. She's a lady that I like. Today is Leslie's birthday. You'll see her on her brand new bike. Today is Leslie's birthday. Happy birthday, Leslie. You're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 65 today. Yeah. we're going to a party. Yes, we're going to a party. Yes, we're going to a party, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Have the best day, Leslie.
Thank you.
Bob's Breakfast.
Hi, I'm Graham Mack. Thanks for listening to the podcast. If you like it, put a link to it on Twitter or a like on Facebook. And subscribe at Apple Podcasts.
Like Sunday morning.
BOBfm, it's easy from Faith No More. And what is it that makes him go, ew? I've got an outtake here from the recording session that might explain it.
Bob's Breakfast.